Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. I hope you're having a good day. We've been looking at decimal numbers, and the last couple of days we've been looking at what they look like as pictures. Today we're going to start looking at how to convert fractions into decimals. Now, what we started out with is we started out some fractions I like to call benchmark fractions. These are ones I just want you to know. Like these are ones that you should memorize and just know off by heart. So we got to know that 1/4 is 25 hundredths is 25%. We've got to know 1/2 is 5/10 is 50%. We have to know 3/4 is 75 hundredths is 75%. And we have to know 1 whole is 100%. So those are ones I want you to remember. Now, we also put those onto a number line. We labeled a number line from 0 to 1. We cut it into tenths. And on that number line, we labeled 1/4 or 25 hundredths or 25%, 1/2, 5/10, 50%, 3/4, 75 hundredths, 75%, all on that number line. So those are ones you just need to know. Now, the other thing we did today, I'll flip forward now, we talked about how all of these previous examples are called terminating decimals because they reach an endpoint that are based on fractions out of 10, 100, 1,000, etc. So what we started today is we started looking at ways to convert a fraction into a terminating decimal. And the first way we talked about is something I like to call recognition, which is really just mental math. So for these ones, we're starting out with fractions that are based out of 10, 100, or 1,000. So the first one I have here is 3/10. And what we do is we look at the number of zeros on 10. So there's 1 0 on 10, which means there's going to be 1 decimal spot. And in that decimal spot, we put the 3. So that's going to be 3/10. And we put a 0 placeholder in the 1 spot. So 0 and 3/10. The next one, 57 out of 100. Well, there's 2 zeros on 100. So that means we have to have 2 decimal places in the decimal. 1, 2. And in those decimal spots, we're going to put 5 in the tenths and 7 in the hundredths, 57 hundredths. Now don't forget about mixed numbers as well. We have 7 wholes and 131 out of 1,000. Okay. 3 zeros on 1,000 mean 3 decimal spots. And in those decimal spots, we put the 1, the 3, and the 1. So we have 1/10, 30 hundredths, and 1,000th for 3 hundredths, for 131 thousandths. 7 and 131 thousandths. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So we always determine the number of decimal places based on the number of zeros if our fraction is out of 10, 100, or 1,000. Do a couple more. 32 and 5 out of 100. Well, we have 32 wholes, 32, so 32, and we have 5 hundredths. So we want to make sure this 5 goes in the hundredths decimal spot. This is the tenths, this is the hundredths. So we have 5 in the hundredths, and then we have a 0 placeholder in the tenths, and we'd say 32 and 5 hundredths. Last one we have here, 25 and 98 out of 1,000. Well, we have 25 wholes, and we have 3 decimal spots because there are 3 zeros on 1,000. So we need to have 98 thousandths. Well, this is the tenths, this is the hundredths, this is the thousandths. So we have to have 98 in the thousandth spot and then a 0 placeholder in the tenths. And we have 25 and 98 thousandths. So that's the first way we can change a fraction to a decimal, by using recognition or mental math. In the next video, I'm going to look at the other way we can change, or one of the other ways we can change a fraction to a decimal. So make sure you watch that video as well. That's all for now. Flexing Teacher Weber, out.